Hello traders, welcome to Flow with the Markets Wednesday. Today is the 19th of February, Wednesday as I said. So let's have a raw video, just me going through the market and updating you on what has been happening since the weekly outlook and setups on Sunday was published. So you can see actually the importance of flowing with the markets. Now, of course, first of all, let's quickly check out the economic calendar. Today we don't have much to worry about. We have the FOMC meeting minutes, which is again just a transcript, so usually it doesn't really bring a lot of volume. And then of course tomorrow is going to be interesting. We have unemployment claims, and then Friday I think is going to be the highlight of this week, because this is when we're going to be having all the PMIs, the Euro, the GBP, now some CAD retail sales, and the US PMIs as well. So I do expect Friday to potentially be quite volatile. Now, let's pretty much have a look at my forecasts, leaving them exactly as I did them pretty much on Saturday or Sunday. What I told you about the DXY is that we had this hourly bearish imbalance here, and if the market wanted to continue lower, it could have continued lower from here to potentially push towards my liquidity targets. And if it did not continue lower from here, then as I said, I would have expected for it to pull back towards this daily imbalance. And you can see so far this week, we have been pretty slow, right? We haven't really done much. This fall imbalance immediately failed pretty much on Monday's London session. We already knew that it's not gonna hold. And then we started having some bullishness, and we actually had a little bit of a long setup right here. If you pretty much carefully read it, we had a hourly bullish imbalance that the market actually followed through, potentially guiding us towards that daily. But if we also have a look at how Monday closed, it actually formed a brand new daily bearish imbalance. So currently I am still looking for the shorts. I'm still short biased on the DXY, but looking at how it's developing right now, you can see how it's actually tapping into that daily imbalance here with a hourly bullish one, taps in, responds, but then it doesn't really show us a lot of strength, wanting for it to continue towards that daily one. And right now it kind of looks like a pullback. So is it going to go higher? Is it going to go lower? You can see this weekly piece of price action so far, we don't get momentum, right? Compare it with last week where it was just like flowing bearish and very nicely. So far, we're just in a very nice and corrective pullback. I would say that I'm definitely more short biased, but my key question right now is, so how I'm currently flowing with the market is, what I want to see is whether the market is going to close below this level here and potentially form an imbalance below it. So then I could potentially start looking for this low, and of course all the lows that I have below. Or is the market going to right now start printing bullish imbalances? Even right now, I can drop to the 1 hourly time frame, because the 1 hourly time frame is also getting quite choppy. You can see this last piece of price action here is quite bad. We're having like bullish imbalances failing. Here we actually had a little bit of a bearish imbalance this morning that is also being flipped right now. So what this also tells me is the market could start heading for these highs. So two situations, once again, the bias is not 100% clear. We're either gonna start printing bullish order flow and imbalances to guide us towards this upper daily bearish imbalance, from which we can once again start observing for shorts, or if actually sellers suddenly kick in from here, like out of this consolidation, strongly break out below this level with some imbalance here, I would also be definitely looking for the shorts. So DXY currently, unfortunately, a little bit chopped up. There is no clear momentum. There is no clear trend yet. Of course, I'm still bearish biased following that massive drop from last week, but I do need to see some commitment for the market to start guiding me towards these liquidity levels. So keeping this in mind, I'm immediately going to go to EU. Now, what I said on EU is that if the DXY is going to hold from this earlier forward imbalance that we had, then probably EU will also pop with it and attack this liquidity high. But as you can see, the DXY did not hold from that hourly zone. So my second forecast on EU, which was to pull back into the daily zone, is right now coming into fruition, okay? But again, the big question is, okay, so are we going to hold from here? Or are we going to pull back a little bit deeper towards this order block? So that is the question right now. We had an expansion candle yesterday. Today is also starting to print a daily bearish imbalance. So in 13 hours, if the market does not cross this line and invalidate the new daily bearish imbalance from forming, it's gonna start looking bearish. And you can see this is why it's important, like, not to say, hey, it is gonna pull back here and it is gonna go higher. You have no idea what it's gonna do. Because right now, if it actually starts forming this daily bearish imbalance, I'm gonna be shifting my bias to shorts, and maybe DXY actually wants to go long. All right. But let's say you actually want to go long from that daily imbalance. You can see there is just no momentum. Like, there is nothing on the hourly time frame. It's not really starting to impulse higher right now to show me that this daily zone is actually going to hold. In fact, right now it's starting to head towards the previous daily low, which is something that I think could potentially get taken this today. And then we drop to the 1 hourly time frame. Like, look at that. So these flat lows are just crying to get liquidated. So what I'm gonna be looking for, again, I'm gonna stick to that bearish DXY for now, and of course bullish EURUSD. If we come in to take out the previous daily low, and then after the previous daily low is taken, we actually start getting some momentous trend changes with imbalances and really starting to get that bullish order flow, I think then we're gonna start having some good setups. Because look at this overall market. What is the market currently doing? It's going down, right? It's making lower highs and it's making just lower lows, right? Lower lows. This could be a lower high to make a new lower low. So when do you actually want to be trading the market right now? You want to be trading it after you have the trend change and after the market starts making, guess what, higher lows and higher highs. So don't try to be catching the bottom. Again, guys, all you need is 1 or 2 good trades per week. That's it. So I'm not trying to catch the bottom right now. I'm literally waiting for the market to shift first, show me the bullishness, if of course any bullishness is going to come in, and then I'm going to trade it. But guess what? If today sells off, if we start forming this daily bearish imbalance on EU right now, I would also be super open-minded to also be taking shorts. Okay, so this week so far, I'm flat. I haven't taken any trades right now, just waiting for the market to develop a bit more to show me where it really wants to go, because we have been a little bit choppy so far. So that's EURUSD. Again, let's observe how this daily imbalance responds. Let's observe how the market will react from the previous daily low. And until I get something that looks like this, I am not longing EURUSD. There is GU. We forecasted that liquidity target here. The market had this hourly bullish imbalance and also another one below. It just gave a little bit of a pullback, quickly took out the target. A lot of my community yesterday took actually a low probability short trade from here, forecasting that we could be pulling back into that daily imbalance. Did we actually have a new one? Yeah, we also formed a new one here on Monday, which is pretty good. Again, the GU looks pretty bullish, but what you can see it's doing this week, it's just sweeping highs. Right, so we started up the week, we swept that high, and then we printed a hourly bearish imbalance. So a lot of my community members had like a 1.3, 1.5 R as they took that short, but it didn't reach the daily imbalance, and then they got break even. And then the market came in again to sweep this high, but you can see it's not making anything bullish on the hourly time frame. So do I have a daily zone to long from? No. They're below and they're not being tapped, and currently the market is at a very big high on the daily. Do I have something on the hourly time frame to long it from? No. All right. So can I do something? No. And that's how trading is supposed to be, boring. Like, can I do something? No, I can't do anything. I'm not gonna go right now. Ooh, 1 hourly time frame, right? We're sweeping, we're bearish. I'm gonna go short the 15-minute and boom, 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 and like start taking random trades. No. I'm just waiting for my zones to tap, and if I have no zones, I don't trade. Or if I have zones, like in this case, right, but they're not tapped, I just wait. What I'm just simply gonna do right now is set an alert at this daily imbalance, and if it taps in, I'm gonna focus. If it does something else, I'm gonna come back to it tomorrow. If it starts impulsing higher, I'm gonna go long. If it starts impulsing lower, right into these daily imbalances, I'm gonna start observing it, whether I can go long from these. Okay, so that's GEO right now, pretty flat. If you have a look at it like this week, again, even on the weekly candle, it hasn't done much yet. Like, compare it to the previous candle, for example, this week looks like it just opened. So it still has a lot of space to expand, which is why I think the market is currently waiting for something. Now, the Aussies and the NZDs, they are releasing right now interest rates, but they're not moving. So we're tapping into a monthly bearish imbalance on AU, which makes it very tricky. Weekly so far hasn't done much, and then on the daily time frame, you can actually see that I told you about this invalidation line on Sunday, and we actually formed a new daily bullish imbalance, and you can see the market tapped it. And it's responding right now and potentially wants to take this target. Can you trade it higher? Like, then you drop to the hourly time frame. It's all a little bit chopped up. We actually had a little bit what I call no, I'm not gonna say what I call it, because this is one of our hidden gems within my private team. We had pretty much this opposing hourly bearish imbalance coming into the daily. So in cases like this, it's just indecision. You have to really wait and see what is gonna happen, because if you try to long from this daily, but back into that hourly, you can see what you get. Oftentimes, this can even give you a stop loss if your stop loss is below here. But in this case, the market reacted, and right now it's starting to push higher towards this. And currently in 1 hour and 6 minutes, we could potentially have a hourly bullish imbalance. If that forms, I could say something like this could be looked at because we're trading from the daily. This is a very clear target right here. If I check out the 1 hourly real quick, yeah, the 1 hourly is trying as well. Like you can see, we have 1 hourly bullish here, tapped in, tried to push, made another one, but right now it's starting to fail it. So does it want to pull back into a 4 hourly, into a hard time frame imbalance, and then go higher from there? Let's see. I'm really seeing longs right now on AU, but if you also look at it objectively, what is it doing? It's chopped up. Like, look at this price action. Is this trending? No, zoom out a little bit, zoom out. Right, what is trending? Maybe something like this is trending, maybe something like this is trending. This here is a very big chop, and we broke out of it, and we're entering into another chop right now. Right, so give it time, but if you really want to be scalpy and if you really want to be capitalizing on those short-term opportunities, I am forecasting potentially this high if a new hourly bullish imbalance forms right here in 1 hour and 5 minutes. If this candle right now continues to go lower and pretty much crosses this level, I'm not looking for longs anymore. I might even start looking for shorts and then start targeting lows like this. Because if this push here, if this bullish push here fails to take out that high and the market starts printing opposing order flow, then this becomes the weak low. That is how we literally trade. We just observe the market, what is holding, what is failing, what is supposed to be happening and what is not happening. And then we pretty much logically determine what is the next target. So currently looking for longs, but if the longs fail and we start getting bearish order flow, I'm gonna be looking for that low. NZDUSD, let's check it out. Also tapping into a monthly imbalance. We actually formed, again, as I forecasted, this one I just plotted it like this, so already forecasting the imbalance. And Monday actually formed it, and we're tapping into it right now. So again, looks like bullishness. However, big problem is that we're tapping into that monthly bearish imbalance that is going to cause a lot of resistance for price. Then we drop to the hourly time frame. Let's see what has been happening. We very nicely sold off here. We came very nicely into that imbalance on the daily. Then we have currently this kind of struggle area to the left. Again, in 1 hour and 4 minutes here, NZDUSD is going to have quite a beautiful 4 hourly bullish imbalance. All right, this kind of gives me confidence for longs, because if you actually get a 4 hourly bullish imbalance out of a daily, that is a very good confidence. So if this actually forms, guys, in 1 hour and 4 minutes, I'm going to be looking for a potential pullback here and then riding it towards that high. So that kind of looks like a good setup so far. A lot can change, but I really do like, for example, the chop here. I really do like the interest rates coming out, sweeping the lows, so tricking sellers and stopping out the buyers, and then expanding higher. So we literally had here a very beautiful range manipulation initiation. So if we come back right now to fill the imbalance and then flip from there, I think it could be a nice setup. So I could even set, let's say, an alert like this to ping me out when it actually comes back into that forward imbalance, if it forms in 1 hour and 3 minutes. And then we can potentially see if we can get into longs. So let's see. Long bias on AU and NU. In fact, NZDUSD looks a little bit better right now, right? But they're both kind of the same. So you make your choice which one to trade. Now gold. I'm heavily wrong on gold, but guess what? I haven't taken any shorts, right? So you can see what I forecasted. Again, we have this weekly imbalance below us that I kind of forecasted as a potential target. Low hanging fruit here, this low, looking to short into this low and into the weekly imbalance. But guess what? We had these 4 hourly bearish imbalances, but the very first thing that the market did when it opened, it made a 4 hourly bullish. So what are imbalances to me? It's simply momentum. It's simply showing me who is currently in control, who is currently pushing the market with momentum, right? The key word is pretty much momentum, and currently who is in control. So we had that sell off on Friday. Okay, cool. The market looks like it's shorts. It made a trend change, but as I also keep telling you, a trend is not confirmed until you have a low, lower high, and a lower low. So what we simply had here is push a low. So what I wanted to truly see is a pullback and the market starting to hold, to start breaking this low, and then hopefully continue going lower. But the very first thing that I saw when I wake up here on Monday was this, right? I'm seeing a bullish imbalance, tapping into a bearish, but I always listen to the most recent one. Who is currently in control? It immediately buyers starting to step in. So if I actually want to take a short on that one, I would wait for the market to tap into this, react, and then break the reaction, and then start guiding me lower. But what it actually ended up doing after Monday, it started going higher, pulls back, then it made another hourly bullish. So guess what? At this time, I'm no longer bearish. I was bearish on Sunday, but I was bullish immediately on Monday after we formed that bullish one. Unfortunately, my team and me couldn't catch some high probability trades because this one simply didn't want to pull back. Right? We had this bearish, it didn't pull back, and now we had this bullish, it didn't pull back. We had this bullish here again, tapping into this area to the left that didn't really make anything. And then we also have this one here that I literally shouted the setup this morning to my team, trying to trade long from that 4-hourly zone. However, the entry was literally right here in the precise middle of the Asian range, and I do not like this. I don't like trading inside the Asian range. You can see I actually already have an alert below the Asian range low, because I said if the market actually makes a low here, taps into that lower 4-hourly imbalance and takes out the Asian low, and then starts giving me the shift, I would absolutely long it. But unfortunately, it kind of started to offer these 50-minute bullish ranges here to be entered from. The stop loss I also don't like setting it in the middle of the Asian range like this. The risk to reward is not bad. You almost get 2R towards this. This is all-time highs, right? So this is kind of the setup. I wonder if some of my community members are actually inside this. I could definitely check it out, but I don't think so. Let's see, execute a trade. There we go. There we go. Live. Gold 1.2 hour context. Long trade. There it is. Exactly the same setup that I shouted in the morning. We have Dugun taking it. And there we go. Yasin as well. With proof. God damn. I love my team. They are crushing it. Like, this one is not the highest probability setup in the middle of the Asian range, but it pretty much ticked our rules. I am very selective with my trades though, so I didn't really take it. So that's gold. Let's see if it's actually going to carry on towards our main target. USDJPY, let's check it out. Weekly time frame. Yeah, look at that candle so far. It hasn't done shit yet. Okay, so look at that. We were bullish on the daily, but right now suddenly we're starting to shift bearish. We created a daily bearish imbalance here on Monday, and then Tuesday chopped. Today tried to pull back into it, but it missed it. And right now it looks like it's wanting to try to flip lower, also breaking above the previous daily high. Okay. So then going on to the 4-hourly time frame, do we have anything bullish on the 4-hourly time frame? No, we don't, right? So the very recent target is going to be this, and then the next target is going to be that, and then of course we have all the way down below here. On the 1-hourly, however, so again, the key question then when we have a bias, so for example, let's say now we have a bias, this is how I trade, okay? I think the market's going to go down. And then ask the very simple question, okay, how is the market going to go down? Do I have a zone? No. So I don't have a 4-hourly zone. I don't have a 1-hourly zone as well. And by zones, I mean imbalances. This is what I use, right? We have one here, but that is way kind of too far above. And I'm not going to drop to the 50-minute time frame right now and suddenly try to short it from here without any sort of zone, any sort of setup, and then place my stop loss here. And then the market actually comes to fill the imbalance to take my stop loss, and then it rushes. So if I actually want to take a short on that one, I need the zone. Okay, so in this case, I would either wait for new zones to form. So for example, let's say the market actually impulses lower and makes a new 1-hourly zone. Then I'm going to keep shorting it potentially towards all of these liquidity lows. But currently, it's not ready. It just doesn't have a setup. It could flush, sure. That's my bias. I think it's going to go down, but it's not giving me a setup. DXY going down as well. No, DXY going up, USDJPY going down, right? So you can see the correlation currently just doesn't make sense. Yeah. Okay, so that is USDJPY. I'm kind of, it's really showing me shorts, but it's not committed, so I would better avoid it. Let's check out these JPYs. Yeah, so we had that daily. But look at this, okay? So here is another example of why you just have to be monitoring what is happening right now. I told you we have a daily bullish imbalance, but guess what? The market formed a bearish one. So who was in control at that time? It was the sellers. They made the last imbalance. Then the market tapped into the bullish, tried to pull back into the bearish, and right now it's actually rushing lower. So what's the bias right now? Well, it's starting to get more bearish. Can we go short? Do we have a daily zone tapped? No. Do we have a 4-hourly zone tapped? No. So again, I'm not taking any trades. I would love to see if this one can form a 4-hourly bearish imbalance here. So in 56 minutes, this candle is going to close. And then in another 4 hours, if we have a bearish imbalance, I would definitely love to get a pullback into it and then trade into that daily. Apart from that, I am not trading these pairs, the EURJPY, GJ, stuff like this. I don't trade. So yeah, I just covered them for you guys because you gave me feedback that you want me to analyze them. So there it is. Looking for shorts right now. I believe currently sellers are in control. So, but I don't have a zone. So I'm going to be waiting for a hourly zone to form before I take a short. And then the low hanging fruit is going to be that daily imbalance. And look at this, because GU is overall stronger than EU. You can see EU right now is going down. GU is actually going up. So you can see again the correlation. There is no correlation, but literally the pound has been stronger than the euro for a very long time. And you can see EJ is going down, but GJ is actually going up. And this is because of that relationship between the euro and the pound as well. So we're tapping into that daily, and it looks like he wants to pop. But again, look at the momentum on the hourly. Like, do you see clear expansions? Like, even if we have a look at the recent range, like this is what we're trading here in the recent range, from this high to this low. It's not making any bullish imbalances to show me that buyers are in control. I'm not longing this one. I really am not. And I'm not shorting it because it's not giving me also short signals. It's still in that daily zone. While, for example, Euro-Yen is already starting to break that zone, right? It's making lower highs and lower lows. This one is making, this one is making higher lows and higher highs. So I'm not shorting a bullish market right now, but I'm also not longing it because it's just not momentous. So again, I'm sorry for the GJ traders, but this is not the market that I will trade right now. It's too choppy. Indices, look at that beauty. Daily imbalance, pinged yesterday, already there. Like, isn't this perfect? It developed, so Monday was a bank holiday. I didn't touch it. Then we took out the liquidity, and then pretty much we took out the liquidity out here on Tuesday, and then we rushed towards that daily imbalance yesterday, and then we already recovered, attacking, for example, this very recent high. And then pretty much right now we're starting to head towards all-time highs again, and all the rest of the highs that are left. For example, right now we are we did make an extremely tiny hourly imbalance here. That is pretty good. It literally shows me that again there were buyers entering from that daily zone. So later on today I will hopefully be looking for a little bit of a manipulation to the lows, and then hopefully to continue higher. But yeah, two situations: manipulation lower, shift of order flow towards the highs, or breakout higher with clear imbalances and then continuation higher. That's it. I'm long bias on the indices right now, so let's see if they're gonna sustain after this beautiful pullback into the daily imbalance, perfectly tapped. Let's see if it's gonna carry on higher. Nasdaq, it actually didn't pull back to the daily, so what I forecasted is for it to pull back all the way to the daily here. All right, but you can see the daily was actually a breakaway gap, and the market ended up pulling back towards this hourly zone. But at the same time, you can see it also formed the bearish one that kind of gave me a little bit not worry, but it just made me feel okay. So are we gonna push a little bit lower? But you can see immediately after that hourly bearish, we formed a very tiny bullish here. It's a super tiny though, and then we also have an extremely come on, man, this is too small. If you can't even draw them, probably don't take them. But I'm listening to ES right now because ES actually pulled back into the daily and is reacting, and it's also taking Nasdaq with it. But Nasdaq is stronger because it didn't really pull back into that daily. While, for example, ES is weaker. This is like the divergence thing, right? So if you're looking for long, probably better to long Nasdaq because it's stronger. So similar to ES today, I will be looking for some sort of a, let's say, either a manipulation into the lows and then a shift of order flow to go long, or if it just decides to break out, I'm going to be looking for longs, okay? And again, don't exclude the short bias. Imagine the market just opens very strongly bearish and prints bearish imbalances. Well, guess what? I'm going to short it. I'm going to short it into that daily zone because it's not about forecasts, guys. It's not about having a very clear and certain bias and being super like, I don't know, like somebody calling markets. No, really, it's not. I give zero cares about what is going to happen right now because I'm going to show up here after how many hours? After 6 hours at 9:30 New York time. And I'm going to wait for around an hour to see how the market's going to set up, and I'm just going to flow with it, right? For indices, I don't even do that much top-down analysis. YM, this one is very choppy right now. It's having that weekly bullish, and then we go up to the daily. Ooh, no. Like, look at that daily. I've been having quite a break-even performance with futures, and I think it's just because of that daily time frame. Like the daily time frame on them is just messed up right now. It's starting to look a little bit better, for example, on NQ and ES, traveling towards all-time highs, but it's just messed up right now. This is one just making a little bit of a pennant right here, a little bit of a triangle. So it's waiting for something. It's waiting for something, but I'm not trading this. It's way too choppy, and it's also influencing the other ones as well, NQ and ES. DAX just keeps going higher. So I had the coach of my community took a long trade. There it is. So he just hit TP on DAX, which is beautiful. It was from this, where it is again. We jump in the market. The first thing that we see in pretty much on Tuesday here, the market is expanding. 4-hour imbalances here, and then you go to the lower time frames, take your entry. Yeah, this one was taken a little bit high, and he actually held it overnight. But right now we just popped all-time highs again. So I hope we're not gonna be longing it anymore. Currently, what we have is a daily bullish imbalance just below it. So what I actually want to see on this one is pretty simple: pull back into this daily from a higher low, and then trade it towards a higher high. Okay. So pretty much to wrap it up, not to make it too long, I am mainly waiting right now. I'm mainly waiting for the DXY to really show me what it wants to do. Again, I have those two situations, but overall looking at the flow of the market, again, like EU doesn't seem like it actually wants to go higher. As I forecasted, for example, here, currently we're taking the previous daily low. So right now, if we start really popping higher, I could then consider longs. But in order for that, I think the DXY might actually want to tap into that upper imbalance and then start selling up from there. If this happens, then potentially EU could get turned into a pretty nice long. GU is super choppy. I'm not touching it. AU and NU, they're actually looking like longs. So I can even put them on the list for right now and drop gold and EU because they're not ready. Let's see. Let's see if they form actually that bullish imbalance and maybe get a long from there. Look at that. Aussie dollar just invalidated it. So I'm not looking for longs on AU. If you're looking for longs, probably NZDUSD is the better bet. Gold, it's already provided the setup. As I showed you, some of my community members took it. Not the highest probability trade in my eyes, but definitely looking pretty good. The JPYs, again, I'm bearish. As I said, I'm bearish on UJ. I'm bearish on EJ as well because the euro is a little bit weaker. But I can't be bearish on GJ because it's pretty strong right now. It's not pretty strong, but it's not weak and it's not as strong to long it. And then the indices, again, I'm looking for longs on the indices right now, especially ES and NQ. Hopefully they give some sort of setups later on. But again, anything can happen right now with Trump and with everything that he's saying. So the stock market could also crash. And of course, you know how I trade. I'm going to be the first one to adapt and of course change my bias. So hopefully guys, you have been staying patient so far this week. I decided to give you an update right now because the market is looking good, and to also give you a little bit of an illustration of how I trade and also how my community trades and how we're flowing with the market every single day. So hope it was insightful. Let me know down in the comments. Trade safe this week and talk to you on Saturday.